So I've gone and purchased one of these Oxford World's Classics. This is, of course, Bede, the Ecclesiastical History of the English People. And I recall reading fragments of Bede uh, about a decade ago, almost exactly a decade ago, in an undergraduate English literature class. I think it was probably, English 101. Probably English 101. It wouldn't have been English 102. I'm pretty sure in English 101 we started out with Bede and Beowulf. Uh, but I've long wanted to return to Bede and read him in his entirety. And so I've got sort of this cheap Oxford World Classics here. And I don't recall much about him at all. But it says the Ecclesiastical History of the English People, the Greater Chronicle, Bede's Letter to Egbert, edited with an introduction and notes by Judith McClure and Roger Collins. And I can't remember what edition. In fact, I think it might not have even been a proper edition of Bede that I had in that English literature class. And I'm saying a decade ago, but now that I think about it, that would have been that would have been more like 12 years ago. It would have been, I think, the fall of 2012. So almost 13 years ago, 12 and a half years ago, when I would have read a bit of Bede for the first time. But I don't think it was even a proper textbook. I think it was, and I don't know if universities still do this now in the days of electronic course readings that have gotten much more popular. Of course, there were electronic course readings back in 2012, but we had things called courseware, where it was basically a cheaply printed booklet that had all the readings for the course. And so I think we had some fragments of Bede, some fragments of Beowulf, some fragments of early English plays. And I think that course went perhaps all the way up to Shakespeare. And then in English 102 we got into, Jane Austen and whatnot. But Bede, I've wanted to return to Bede for years now. And so I've purchased this particular edition here. Don't know whether it's any good. Oxford World Classics tend to be good, or at least okay. There's some introductory material here. But I think this is going to be my next train read here later this month. Sufficiently long for a train journey.